Good afternoon, and welcome to another live stream of Computerized Start. I see I have Dave and Joe in the chat, and Trina. Welcome. So I think we will get right into this. And I thought before I started working on the 2CI, I would show you the now ultrasonically cleaned cache card. And look at that. There's no more of that electrolytic junk on the board. I have a feeling this will work pretty good now. My back is doing better, Trina. I was well enough to at least attempt a live stream. So, all right. So now that I have the cache card cleaned, I think it's time to get to the logic board. So yes. So I'm picking up where I left off on Thursday. So Thursday I did get all the caps off the board, but I have not done anything to clean the pads where the electrolytic caps were. So the first thing is to do that. Although first I think I am going to give my soldering iron just a little bit of a clean. It does look like I forgot to do that Thursday. Oh, all right. Speaking of subscribing, it is still not too late to enter the 64 subscriber giveaway because we are still in the month of March. So the link is in the video description. Although if you're watching this after March of 2022, though, it is too late. So now that I have a fairly clean soldering iron, I'm just going to start on the upper corner of the board, try to clean these pads up. Looks like some of them may still have legs from the capacitors or something. Or maybe it's just the depression where the capacitors were. I know, it is quite possible I'll get up to 128 subs before the end of Macintosh. Alright. Trying to find the clean part of my solder wick. Well, waste not, want not. Alright. I'm going to try to get the most out of my solder wick. Alright. So basically, I just want to make sure I have a good surface for putting the new caps on. Yeah, Dave, that'd be appreciated. And one more pad here. think that looks pretty good. Alright. I'll pull the microscope out at some point to examine these, but at the moment, I'm just getting them clean to the unmagnified view and trying to actually use up the solder wick. This pad looked a little nasty still. There we go, that looks a little better. Just want to make sure I have the best possible mating surface for the new capacitors. Alright, I think I can... Oh, cool. Yes, if you're into power books, check out Trina's Technobabble tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern. I know she had a stack of power books, and hopefully we'll get those back up and running. Seems as if this board is cleaning up nicely. I think these pads are in better shape than the cash card pads. It wouldn't surprise me if that cash card came out of a Mac IIci that was stored in a shed or something. That would not surprise me at all. Because it was... pads were in really bad shape. Alright, are those all the capacitors? I guess those are. Oh! Okay, I knew... I thought I was missing one. There we go. Alright, so I've got, let's see if I can, there we go. So I've got those capacitor pads cleaned, and these capacitor pads are cleaned. Oh. And I got the vias for the through-hole capacitors as good as I could Thursday, so I'm not going to do anything else to them until I start to install the capacitors. And I believe that is all I needed to do for cleaning before I solder. Obviously, this board needs to go through the ultrasonic cleaner. Checking that everything is in order for capacitors. Today I'll probably be using the pluggable USB microscope. because I still haven't had a chance to rearrange my desk so that I can swing my stereo microscope out. I need to order some C-stands for the rig I have. I have not found any C-stands that I like that I think are sturdy enough to hold the rig. But I have an overhead camera rig that will actually span the entire length of the desks. More importantly, it means that the overhead camera rig will not be sitting on the desks, because that's part of what's preventing me from rearranging the desk until I can swing the microscope out. So, alright, I think I am going to start with the through-hole capacitors. And then we'll go to the surface mount ones. Alright, and there are... Actually, let me go ahead and get the 220 microfarad through-hole first, because there's only one of them. And it is a Vichy, because that's what I could get. When it comes to through-hole electrolytics, it's more of a... You have less of a selection, so... Alright, I do like to install these so that I can read the reading when it's installed, making sure that the arrows point towards negative, and the board is marked positive. And that via is not cleaned enough. Alright. Actually, that's the one I had trouble with. Alright, so what I am going to do is... because I think this board is just narrow enough to go in my quad hands. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Not quite as tight of a fit, or I thought it was going to be too close. But it fits. Alright. Because I need to heat the... Alright. So let me push the... There we go. Alright, I'll get this positioned so you can see it the best possible. There we go. So basically, I need to heat the via and push the capacitor through. Or push the leg through. Because that's the one of the ones I had trouble getting it desoldered all the way. So, there's that. And I'm going to take a pair of ceramic tweezers so that it doesn't add a thermal load. And we'll see if I can't... get the component leg. Well, I may have to go about this the other way. Alright. Okay, let's try again, but from the underside. Alright. So point towards negative. Negative is that side of the board. Ooh, I may have to use something other than these ceramic tweezers because they don't have a good grip. Hi, Alex. Yes, I've got Mac Lovelies on the desk. Alright. It's the 2CI board. See if I can... Alright, let's try a different tactic. See if I can apply some new flux down the via. Alright. Now... Alright. Let's see if I can't now... get the solder out. Oh, cool. I look forward to your live stream. I will. All right. Let's see here. Let's see if I can't. Oh. That's... The V is too small for that. Alright. Thought maybe if I could get something down to push the solder out. Alright, I'm going to try to push the capacitor through. Oops. All right. I'm going to have to put a little UV solder mask on the trace beside this pad. But that's okay. Luckily, I have some. You know, that is... Alright, I know you can't see what I'm doing. I can't see what I'm doing. So this via, the leg will go through, but this other via, it seems like it's... Oh yeah, it still has solder in it. That's why I can't... So let me just take a survey of these other vias. So that one... Okay, so I push the leg through that one. I get one through that one. And I get one through that one. But that one's... That one... And I know the one definitely still has solder in it. And then this other one... Okay. Let's see here. I'm going to need something that I can actually grip onto the component with. Alright. So I'm going to put something under the board so that I have some room under the board. And then I'm going to make sure I have the capacitor lined up correctly. And then I'm going to see if I can't push the leg through the via. No. Okay, wow. That via is really... Yeah, it is. Okay. Well, let me see if I can get some of these other vias clean, and then maybe I'll come up with an idea how to clean that one via, because it's just not cooperating. And interestingly enough, it's not the... I would have thought I would have had trouble with the negative via, but it's clean. It's the positive one I'm having trouble with on this pad. I guess it's... Alright. Although in this case, this one is the negative via that I'm trying to get cleaned, so I'm not as surprised that it's being stubborn. Yeah, I'm going to do that, Dave. The solder looked like it was more on that side of the board, which is why I was trying that side of the board. All right. All right. There we go. I added some solder. And then now I'm going to try to remove the solder. Alright. Can I get this one clean? Yeah, I've got solder needles, but the problem is the solder needle, the smallest solder needle seems to be too big for some of these vias. I can try this one with the solder needle. Because honestly, it looks like Apple did something weird on this board. Oh, I'm also having trouble seeing the via. Yeah, I might have to pull that out and... Actually, let me try the... Alright, I think I'm going to have to try the hum machine. Alright, one moment. I'll plug it in. I try to stream about twice a week. Though when my basement's cold, it happens less frequently, and my basement had been too cold to stream the past, well, I guess January and February it was. So I was not streaming as much. Alright. So I've actually bumped the temperature up just a little bit, and that is probably not really a good idea. And I also know Bruce says not to use flux when you're using a hum machine, but well, I've already put flux on the board. So let's see, 1, 2. I've got the one via clean now, I think. 1, 2. Alright, of course, now this other one's being problematic. Well, actually, let me see if I got the one that I was having trouble with clean. Let me confirm. Alright. Negative goes this way. Oh yeah, there we go. And then just confirming, got negative pointing towards negative. Ah, look at that. Well, the capacitor I got is just a little bit, I think it's a little bit larger than the original. So having a little bit of trouble getting it to set nicely on the board, but that's close enough. Let me go ahead and solder that in position. Just because it's the one I was trying to work on. Alright. Well, is it soldered? Oh yeah, it's soldered. I think. Oh, no, that doesn't feel soldered. Alright. The one leg, which I think I've had off camera. No, I'm not planning on testing today. I still have to do the power supply, and I don't have all the parts yet for that. You know, I don't like the way those solder joints look. There we go, that's better. Alright, now let me get this via here. It's still being stubborn. Let me add a little more solder. Yeah. I have some of the parts for the power supply, but I found I had trouble finding a capacitor list for it. Because I can't, some of the capacitors, I didn't want to remove them to read the values. Wow, this via is being stubborn. I'll try it on the side of the board. Now I'll try not to melt the power supply plastic, power supply connector plastic, which is too late for that. Well, you can't really tell I melted it, but I can tell I melted it because I smell it. I melted it just a little bit. All right. Actually, you know, that is too large for that hole. All right. Yeah, okay. Alright, well, I guess let me... Hi, Jay. Okay, let me see if the other three vias are clear enough to put the capacitors through. Let's see here. So that one is... Not quite. That one's no. And this one is... going to trick me into putting the capacitor in backwards if I'm not careful. No, not clear enough. Alright, let's see here. Alright, I can see light through... Okay, so I can see light through that via. It's just a little bit occluded. Oh, I see the solder blob on the board that's causing trouble. Alright, that might actually be clear enough now. No. Ah, but these vias are big enough for the solder needle to go through. Alright. So that's how a solder needle works. There we go. Alright, I can get one of the capacitors in because the VO is big enough for a solder needle. Alright. So negative goes towards negative. And there we go. And note that there is a plus here, but that's for this capacitor. So the plus for this capacitor is this one here. And I can double check that by where the ground plane is. So, alright, so I got that axial in. And oh, don't want to do that. Okay, Hacko, that's not what I wanted to do. So I'm increasing the temperature of my solder station because I'm trying to solder a ground plane. I need a little extra heat. It's a big ground plane. There we go. Nope, all that solder just stuck to my soldering iron. And we'll need to add some flux. Well, I still don't think that... Well, that's... I'm gonna have to probably... I think I'm gonna have to solder the ground plane on the other side of this board. Oh, wait, maybe I did actually get a... Oh, okay. It's soldered. It's just hard to tell. Alright. I might add just, Oh, yeah. It's... Well, I'm going to add just a little solder on this side, too, because... I can't tell that it's soldered. Alright, I think that's got solder. Alright. So that's two of the axials. And the third one's... Alright. Actually, I think these solder needles will go through these vias. It just takes... a lot of heat. Alright. Yeah, I know, people's kind of meander in and out of both streams, probably. I'm working on this afternoon because I need to get the board off the workbench. There we go. I think that via's clean now. There we go. Alright. Oh, these are cool. Alright. So the negative is there. Positive is here, and come on, Via. I know I just cleaned you. There we go. And there's the third one. Alright. And now I can solder the axials. And then I'll say good riddance on them, because they certainly did not want to go in easily. I'm hoping the surface mount ones will be a lot easier. Alright. Where are they? Oh, that's why I was having trouble seeing them on camera, because they were blending in with the board. There they are. Alright. That's weird. Oh, there we go. Alright. And there's solder on the joints. I'm probably going to kind of put some solder on the top sides too, just to make sure. I've got these soldered. Alright. So those look decent. Power plug is not totally mangled. Alright, time for surface mounts. Let's see here. Put the Alright. So, let's see, you got 10 microfarad 16 volt and 47 microfarad 16 volt. I think I'll start with the 10 microfarads. Oh, that's right. Now that I'm done with the through hole, make sure the, yep. All right. So the 10 microfarad goes on C11. And C12. Oh, there's just two of them. That's right. I must have ordered 10 because of the quantity. That was the quantity break. All right. And what I'm going to try to do, get some solder on the soldering iron, hold the capacitor in place, and tack the one side on. repeat for the other. Oh, it does help though to get solder on the pad. There we go. And now I can come back with the solder and get the other side. All right. I think that's good. All right, those are on. And now the 47s. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. Should be 7 of them. No, there's 8 of them. One. Oh yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold please while I realize that I missed one of the cleaning one of the pads because it's down by the new bus slots. Alright. There we go. Alright, got that one cleaned. Alright, I did realize I meant to kind of re-tin these and then I'm going to clean them again just to make sure they are... Oh, wait. Actually, I can use that to my advantage. That's too much solder, though. Alright, There we go. Now, more flux. And come on. Get the first tantalum out of the package. There we go. One nice new tantalum cap. Make sure I've got the stripe lined up with positive. Right, have that capacitor tacked on so I can solder it without too much frustration. Key, second one. Make sure I got enough room to solder on the other side. I think I do. Yep, pretty sure that right? Yep. And just drop the... Oh, good. I dropped the strip of tantalum capacitors, but the ones that I had removed from the package fell on the desk. Though they're maybe not in the best place where they fell on the desk, but they're on the desk. Alright. Got one more tantalum here. There we go. So there's 3 new tantalum capacitors. 1, 2, yep. So there's 3 there. Just checking the Bruce's recapping guide to make sure I didn't forget any. All right. Alright. Well, that goot wick is spent. Which is why I have more. There we go. All right. So now that's clean. Apply some more flux. I'm just about out of flux in this tube, which is why, fortunately, I have another tube. All right. Oh, okay, I'm going to have to fix that. Wow, is that? Yeah, that's a 47 microfarad. Alright, that one's going to require... two... Okay, well, that is... Well, it's going to be a little more crooked than the rest because... slightly smaller pad than the rest for whatever reason. Probably because Apple was just trying to fit too much into a small space. For all I know, maybe they forgot, some designer forgot that the 2CI was going to ship with stereo sound and had to stick another capacitor in there. Because it's a smaller pad than the other 47 microfarads, but it sure was a 47 microfarad. Because I did a check of the capacitors I pulled off the board, and sure enough, there we go. And just always checking that the stripe's facing towards positive, because that's how tantalums are marked. Unlike if you were replacing these with electrolytics, then the stripe would go towards negative. Yeah, thanks, Dave. Yeah. So I guess there is some maybe controversy or debate as to whether you use tantalums or electrolytics. I guess ultimately, if it's your board, it's up to you. Electrolytics will eventually leak, which would mean you'd have to eventually replace them again. Although maybe you're willing to replace them. Maybe you're not sure the computer will have that much life left in it to need caps again. That's, I guess, up to you if it's your board. Tantalums, these tantalum polymer caps won't leak, but they do, if they fail, they usually fail shorted, so but they won't leak electrolyte, so it's kind of one of those. Really comes down to, it's your board, it's your choice, and I decided that I would rather not that I would just like to use the capacitors that aren't going to leak. So I'd like to think someone might enjoy this computer after I decide to sell it or whatever. Cost difference between the two for as few caps as I'm using is really not, I don't think that's really as big of a deal. Yeah, these tantalums I think were, I don't know if they were like 50 cents or a dollar each. The electrolytics would, maybe electrolytics would have been 50 cents. These were $1, but for 10 caps, okay, we're talking $5 versus $10. My time's worth more than the caps. So, there we go. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the 40. Is that right? 8 47s. Yeah. And 2 of the. Alright, just taking one last check for polarity. It does appear as if on the recapping guide that Apple did put all of the these capacitors in the same order. So that's good. All right. I don't know what temperature my ultrasonic cleaner managed to reach. But I'm going to probably put this in there in a moment. Although there were a few traces that I kind of wiped away the inadvertently braided through the solder mask, so I'm going to check them here real quick. I'm just going to make sure they're still making continuity, and then I'm going to add a little UV solder mask. Alright, so this one here should still be making continuity. Yep. It's a little hard to see, but you can see that I kind of went through that a little further than I wanted to. So I'm going to try to remember where I put the green UV solder mask. Never used this before. But it seemed to be okay. So this is Mechanic UV Curing Solder Mask Ink Green. I found it on eBay, got it on eBay. I'm about to get it all over my bench. Alright, so I think what I want to do is spot clean the board. Let's see here. I saw another trace that kind of looked like I might have abraded it. Maybe not. I mean, that one's so small, but I'm going to put something over it to protect it. Okay, that was just flux residue fooling me. Alright. So that looks fine. I think that's the only place yeah. And I didn't really get it by much. I think I'm going to probably waste more of the UV solder mask on it dripping than I am going to actually apply over that little spot just to protect it. In fact, I don't think I even really needed to pull the plunger out, because... Alright. Now I'm going to get my it's most certainly not a nail curing UV light. Don't let the branding fool you. Okay. And I think I'll turn it on 180 seconds. And might be hard to see, but I'll just so you can kind of see that, yep, that is a UV light. I'll just put that there to kind of help reflect the light in. And we'll try to cure that UV solder mask. It may require a couple runs because the bulbs require time to warm up because it uses fluorescent tubes, not LEDs. So I may have to run it for 2 cycles because it'll take it about 60 to 90 seconds to warm up to full intensity. In fact, you can probably see now that it's at a much higher intensity. I'll put the safety shield back into place so that I'm not staring at as much UV light. Although this is not the really dangerous UV light. That would be in my UV chip eraser, which is somewhere. I thought I brought it down here. Oh, did I not put it on the shelf? Oh, it must be on the... I must have put it on the bottom of the desk. No? Okay, I put it in some creative hiding spot, but I have a UV chip. Oh, there it is. It's on the table. I need to find a place for it. That I'm probably going to put it on my cart that has my ultrasonic cleaner so that when I'm running it, I can turn it on and then walk away. It leaks just a little bit of UVC light. I'll put it there used to be a little viewing lens on the drawer and it's fallen out, so I need to put some tape over that just to block the light that comes through that, but for safety, it'll be around the corner. Alright, so the first cycle should be about done. I think you'll be able to see when it kicks off because there's the UV light reflecting off the fan. There we go. First cycle's done. And the UV solder mask does not appear to be cured. All right. Fair enough. Cycle 2. I'm going to design a new logo to put on my board curer. I think I'll also put the logo on the upside down from the way it came from the factory, because I will more than likely use it in this orientation where the opening is facing away from me when on camera. All right. I need to find something to make this UV solder mask not as messy. See, that's the spare fiberglass tip. Well, that's got a tantalum in it. Those are resistor nuts. Do I not have a little bag that I can put this in? Well, I guess I could put it in this. I'll have to go up and get a Ziploc bag. Actually, I guess at the moment... Let me just do this so at least I don't knock it off the workbench. I don't have any... I was going to rebrand my light, but I don't have any tape. All of the tape must have made its way upstairs. How wonderful. All right, cycle number 2 is done. Did I just maybe get this on way too thick? Yeah, that probably is the case. Alright, I'm not sure that's totally cured, but it's looking like it's close. So I'm going to give it one more suntan. There we go. One more suntan cycle. In fact, I have the ultrasonic cleaner warming up. Once I get this UV solder mask on the few places where I kind of exposed the copper, then I'll put it through the ultrasonic cleaner while I'm live so that I can show off the results of how clean it looks. So for the cash card and the blue scuzzies, because I put those through last night, I ran the ultrasonic cleaner at 65 degrees C, although it's not going to warm up to that temperature while I'm on stream, so I may settle for 50 degrees C. And for each side of the circuit boards, I ran a 3-minute degas cycle to get rid of all the air bubbles. and then followed by a 5-minute semi-wave cycle and a 5-minute full wave cycle, because my ultrasonic cleaner does 28 kilohertz and 40 kilohertz. And then flip the boards over, degas, semi-wave, full wave. And then for those boards, I rinse them with deionized water and then with isopropyl alcohol to help get the water off. And then I put them through my reflow oven on a bake cycle. And I believe I baked them at 30 degrees C for 20 minutes to start to kind of promote the evaporation of the isopropyl alcohol, and then followed by 60 degrees C for 60 minutes to dry the boards. I believe Bruce recommends 60 degrees C for 60 minutes bake. I added the shorter and lower temp cycle just because I didn't want to immediately go up to 60 degrees C with the boards wet of isopropyl alcohol. And they did seem to be dry after that 60 minutes and clean. As I showed you on the cache card, the blue scuzzies look good. They didn't have much flux residue on them. The cache card had electrolyte on it. So it looks like the cache card looks good. I think it will work. Alright, so I believe let me put the bottom cover back on that so I can find it when I'm looking for it. You know, I could turn my soldering iron off. Alright, and I think there was a trace on top side of this board that, of course, it might be under one of these capacitors. Or maybe it was just that bottom trace. Yep, I think it was just on the bottom. All right. So I think that looks good enough to go ahead and put it through the ultrasonic cleaner and start that process. And the nice thing is, all the bug crusties will be gone too. All right. So right now it is running through the 3-minute decast cycle on the top side of the logic board. The water is up to about 50 degrees C, which should be warm enough. It's warm enough for government purposes, ha ha ha. Since the US government was the previous owner of that 2CI. I guess while I wait for that to clean, I'm going to go ahead and put my blue scuzzies back in their 3D printed housings, since they are nice and clean. That way you can see how nice and clean they are, because they cleaned up nicely. All right. So this is the Blue Scuzzy desktop, And so top side, bottom side, no flux residue. Nice and clean. In fact, this will probably be the one I put in the 2CI. And I think that cycle should be about done. There we go. All right. There's one clean blue SCSI. Hi, Adam. I've got the 2CI logic board in the ultrasonic cleaner. I was putting my blue SCSIs together in their trays because I cleaned them last night. All right, so this is the blue SCSI 1.0C that was in the LC. Which I did not previously clean. I kind of noticed there was some flux residue on the board. Looks like it's clean. Kind of did, well, this blue pills probably does not have an authentic ST chip on it because the ultrasonic cleaner affected the paint that the that they used to cover the true nature of that chip. Oh, awesome! Apple IIcis are so much fun. Someday I will get one. Appears as if I put that in backwards. Oh, I did. There we go. So this will go back in the LC. So that is one thing about ultrasonic cleaners. They will sometimes affect labels and other markings, and it affected the marking on that blue pills microcontroller. Because I bet if I took some acetone, so, yeah, I bet if I took some acetone, that's just nail polish remover, I bet yep. Yeah, they put paint on it. Still can't tell what it is. There we go. It's back together. I will set that aside so I go put it back in the LC. All right, and then this is the Blue SCSI 1.1. If I can get it lined up. There we go. Oh, so the bottom looks pretty good. Oh, I think that's just some silkscreen residue or something. All right. Well, at least the one good thing is my ultrasonic cleaner seems to be far enough away from the camera that it's not, or far enough away from the microphone that it's not completely annoying. If you happen to just be tuning in and hear what sounds like static in the background, that's actually the ultrasonic cleaner running. Because I can see from the mic levels in OBS Studio that the mic is picking it up. The nice thing about this ultrasonic cleaner is it actually beeps when the cycle's done. All right, that Blue SCSI's together. And finally, this one's the easy one. This is the Blue SCSI desktop. And it's simply goes into the case, if I can figure out which orientation. I may have to pull up the instructions and look at a picture. Looks like it goes that way. Maybe it goes this way. Oh, there we go. Maybe that's it. No, that doesn't seem right. No, it has to go this way because there's an opening for the jumpers. Oh, there we go. There we go. No, that's not right. All right, I'm about to go look at a picture. It's eluding me. It's also possible the 3D print shrunk too much to insert it for some reason. All right, so I need to flip the board, which... All right. Top of board faces the clear side. Yep. That's what it looks like. I think it's possible the print shrunk. All right. Because yes, that's the opening is for the jumpers. Theoretically. All right. Oh, there we go. Maybe that's it there. Yeah, all right. I got it. I just hadn't found the sweet spot of where the DB25 connector needed to go. Actually, I think this... Oh, that may be the other thing. It looks like this might have warped during printing. That might be the other thing. Yeah. Where do I have the... Okay, so I got the bottom one. And... Oh, there we go. I think I got it. Yeah, it looks like the print might have warped a little. Because it's not quite straight, but it's on. It'll work. It's serviceable. Oh, yeah, I can see that it did warp during printing. Alright, but it's in. You can get to all the ports. You can still change the jumpers. Alright, there's the decast cycle complete on the bottom side of the logic board. Alright, yeah, it looks a little melty. Alright, and that is the semi-wave cycle I just started. It is noisier than the full wave cycle. Alright. While that cleans, I'm just going to take the moment to clean and tin my soldering iron so that I don't forget. Because, yeah, it looks a little oxidized from what I just did. Alright. No problem. Alright. Clean it off in the brass brush. Which actually already made it look better. And then clean it on this block that I forget what they call it, but does a good job, so I use it. And then I'll, good measure, go ahead and tin the tip tinner, clean the excess off with the brass brush, and I'm not the hugest fan of the last brass brush I bought off Amazon. It's not as good as the one I had. There we go. One decently tinned tip. Ready for use next time. Just let me go ahead and clean the tip of this off. I melted a little bit of plastic on that wall around the power connector. I will see if this will... Yeah, there we go. That's... Clean that off, and I believe that Hacko says to apply some fresh solder every time you use this. The tip tinner might probably would work just as well. Alright. So now that tip is clean and coated, so it hopefully will not oxidize. Or, well, I mean, it'll eventually oxidize, but hopefully that will prolong its life by doing the maintenance that Hacko says to do. Alright. And if anyone's wondering, my smoke absorber is one of these. Don't let the color of the plastic fool you specials. It should probably be apparent by what word is not on that label. I think this is one of those clones, but it works fairly well. Alright. And put the full wave cycle on. So I guess while I wait for the board to finish cleaning, I will remind you that if you have not already done so, smash that. Yes, it did dawn on me that yes, that is the other word that is not on that label. I was going for the word Hacko because I believe on the actual real FA400 it says Hacko Corporation. Because if you'll note, oh yeah, okay, note the fonts. Yes, note the font. Yeah, they've copied the label. Yeah, well, and Hacko. All right, we'll see you later, Adam. Yeah, that's the... Yeah. It does not say... Because I believe the real one, it would say Hacko here, but they put 400. And yeah, I think they've shifted corporation up to disguise the fact that I believe it would say Hacko Corporation. Or they've shifted everything down. Because it's also possible it said Hacko up here and then Corporation. But I don't know. But yeah, you're right. Hacko makes all of their things in... Or most of their things in Japan. Although they may have their FA400s made in China. I don't know. But maybe they are made in Japan. And that is the huge giveaway that this was a clone. But the one thing is, now that I have the clone and I see that it works nice, I probably will buy one of the actual Hacko ones at some point, because it will probably work a little better. Yeah. Yeah, well, there's what the front of it looks like. Because I believe it would say Hacko right there. And yeah, they... It probably does work just as well. It works better than the one I had. Because this one here, you lay it down on the desk. So you've got your workpiece or whatever you're working on here. And this kind of draws the smoke in this way. It kind of helps add some pressure to it. Whereas the other one I had not only was louder, I still have it here in case I ever need to use it for something. But I had one of these deals, and not only are they louder, but it's just, it towers over everything, creating a shadow. And since it doesn't have this feature, it doesn't draw the smoke in. But this still works. That's all no need to... So no need to get rid of it. I just put it on the shelf for storage. Yeah, that's the smoke absorber I've been using the past couple streams. But yes, as I was saying, I was going to remind everyone that if they haven't done so already, to subscribe, smash that like button, and to not forget that as long as you're watching this before April 1st, because at 11:59 p.m. on March 31st, I will disable the comments on the giveaway video, which is linked in the description. There is still time to enter the giveaway. Your chances of winning would be decent because there are not many entries. So if you're even curious as to what I'm giving away or would like to hear the rules or enter, the link is in the description. So you can check that out. And there we go. There's the beeps. Hi, Jeremy. You joined just in time for me to pull the 2CI out of the ultrasonic cleaner. There we go. And there we are. Let's see if I can't switch views without creating a horrible mess. Alright, so this just came out of the ultrasonic cleaner, so it is wet. Now we'll need to rinse it. But the bug crusties are gone, as well as the loose cobwebs. The kind of looking at the board, looks like the electrolyte on the board is decently cleaned. There still seems to be a little residue on the board, so I may actually put this back in on the bottom side. I don't have a tub or enough alcohol to give it an alcohol bath, but I've got a spray bottle of alcohol. I will spray it with alcohol to promote the water evaporation. But what I'm going to do first is I will actually use some deionized water to rinse it, and then I'll use the alcohol. So that's the board. So anyways, I replaced that cap, these 4 caps, then these 5. So it looks good. Looks clean. Actually looks like something I would be willing to power up now. I just don't have a power supply. The optimum temperature is 65 degrees C. I was wanting to show off the board on stream, so the ultrasonic cleaner only had a chance to get up to 50, which I thought was probably good enough. And it looks like that is the case. So it looks like, although I'm tempted to put it in on this, with this side of the board facing down for another couple minutes, because there's a few places where it still seems like there's some residue on the board. So I may do that, but otherwise it looks like it's decently clean. And what I'm looking at might just be the fact that the ultrasonic cleaning solution is drying on the board. But anyways, I can see that some of the chips that are printed, the ultrasonic solutions kind of worn the printing off, because it looks like this Zilog chip was printed, not etched. But that's fine. It's obvious what chip it is. Anyways, so that's the 2CI board after... So each side, with each side facing down, I ran a 3-minute degas cycle, then a 5-minute semi-wave cycle, and then a 5-minute full wave cycle, with the semi-wave being 28 kilohertz and the full wave being 40 kilohertz. So I think I'm going to put this in for another... I'm just going to put it in for 5 minutes at full wave with the top side facing down. Just one more cycle, because the bottom looks pretty good, because all the electrolytic capacitors were on the top. The bottom looks pretty good. There's the one little place where I kind of abraded the original solder mask, so I put a little repair on it. But everything looks pretty good. I know I'll have to deal with the rust. There was that rusty spot there that I'm sure being in water didn't help, but all in all, it looks pretty good. Yes, I'm using Elmatech A1 right now. So I may try some other solutions, because that's what I was able to get when I ordered it. But that's what I used this time. So anyways, I'm going to put this back in for one more cycle, just to kind of make sure everything's good and clean. I'm not going to hold the stream open for that. Once I've got this clean, I will probably take a few photos and post them to Instagram, or I'll show them off next time or actually, I'll probably just show the board off when I do the power supply, because that will be next, wherever I put the power supply. Oh, it's over on the table. I need to order caps for that. So yeah, it might be etching aluminum parts, but I'm not, since this board's mine, I'm not too worried about that. But Yeah, it's definitely taking paint off. All the solutions have their benefits and drawbacks, and yeah, the Elmatech A1, yeah, that's its drawbacks. But anyways, everything it looks pretty good. So anyways, with that, I think I'm going to call this stream to a close for today. Because I'll finish my cleaning and rinsing on this, because then I've got to air dry it, because this is too big for my reflow oven, and I don't really want to put this in my. Well, I guess I could put it in my electric oven if my electric oven will turn down that low. So yeah, I may just put this in the oven upstairs. It'll be fine. Anyways, so with that, I'd like to thank everyone for joining. Hope you'll subscribe so that next time I'm live, you'll know, because I have a couple more things I'd like to try to do for Macintosh, including the 2CI power supply, and I do have the LC2 logic board. And I believe I have the caps for the LC2 logic board. No, I don't. That's right. That's the other thing I need to order from Mouser. I tried to order those caps, but Newark didn't like something about the way I tried to pay. I have no idea what happened. They authorized the card, but then they sent me an email saying they're ever having trouble approving the card and asked for a bunch of information I really didn't want to give them. But so I don't really know what went up. So I got the caps in a Mouser order. I don't know. I might have exceeded some. I was trying to buy a bunch of caps. I might have exceeded some threshold, or I don't know. Maybe what I ordered wasn't actually in stock or something. It was just really weird. Anyways, so I got to order the caps for the LC2. But anyways, 2CI power supply will be coming up as soon as I can get caps. Hopefully I'll get those ordered this week so that I can squeeze that in before the end of Macintosh, because that was my big goal for Macintosh. LC2 logic board, I'd like to squeeze that one in too if possible. Of course, that's fairly quick. I have other things upcoming as well. But with that, I'm going to say have a good evening, and I hope to see you next time. Take care.